Hello, so let's have a look at this very beautiful picture explaining the typical concept in electronics of transmission and reception of an electronic signal, especially in the domain of acoustics or sound. So, here we also will understand what is analog signals, what is digital signal, how the signals are processed, what instruments or devices are used to convert one form of energy into another form of energy, which transducers or the sensors will do. So, to my extreme left, what is the sign is somebody is speaking. For example, I am speaking to you, and my voice you can hear, those are called as sound waves. So it's a kind of signal, acoustic signal, and it has a specific amplitude and the frequency. So usually that ranges between 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Now we need a typical electronic system to process this kind of sound waves or acoustic signals. So these signals, the sound waves, the sound vibrations from my side can be picked up by a transducer or electronic gadget called as microphone, as shown in this picture. Now what microphone does is that it takes or receives the sound waves and converts into proportional electrical voltage, as shown by this graph over here. So we are still operating in the analog domain, and the graph of the signal shows an electrical voltage which is continuously varying with respect to time. So it has a positive amplitudes, it has a negative amplitudes, and accordingly it is instantaneous. It is called as instantaneous signal with respect to time. Now let's have a look at this box. This is your computer, and inside the computer you have ADC, which is analog to digital converter, and you have digital to analog converter, which is DAC, and in between you have some digital circuits or digital integrated blocks which can be used to process your signals. So what ADC does, the first of all, ADC will take this electrical voltage that is shown in the graph, which is analog voltage, sample it and convert that electrical voltage into proportional digital codes. That's why we call it as analog to digital converter. Now those digital codes will be fed for further processing, or we can say that that is nothing but your binary data, which has logic 0 and logic 1. That's why we call it as a binary, and that binary data will be processed through digital signal processing circuitry, which is right here. It will, for example, add some effect, it will filter out the noise, it can put some conversion, it can amplify, and so on. Now these digital codes will be fed back to digital to analog converter, which will take these digital codes and convert back into proportional electrical voltage, as shown by the second graph. Here we are back into the analog domain again. So you see, we were starting from the analog domain, we converted and we got back to digital domain, and from digital domain we got back into analog domain. So this is how the typical system works and typical processes are work. Now we are back in analog domain with the analog signal electrical voltage, as shown in the graph. This electrical signal is fed back to another transducer called as loudspeaker. What loudspeaker does, it converts incoming electrical signal into proportionate sound waves, which can be given to human ear. For example, I am speaking to you, and the computer system in between has ADC and DAC and the digital circuitry, and the system also has inbuilt microphone which converts the sound waves to electrical signals. Some processing happens, digital codes are generated, those digital codes can be given back to DAC, which converts those digital codes back to electrical voltage. And now within the system, for example, smartphone I am holding in my hand has a loudspeaker. So loudspeaker is converting those electrical signal into proportional sound waves which are reaching to you as an output signal. So from me to you, this is how a complete communication system is working, and the electronics is playing a very good role, a vital role in the transmission of my voice to the reception to your ears. So hope you understand this very informative intellectual video on how the system, transducers, analog and digital signals, computers, ADC, DAC work in a typical electronics technology. If you like this video, please share it with others.